Hi everyone, so I haven't made a recipe in a long time or done a voiceover in quite some time, but I couldn't gatekeep these cookies. These are amazing. I found this recipe online. I was just looking up some chocolate chip recipes that might be better than mine or that I found that piqued my interest, and I saw this brown butter, but instead of using chocolate chips, they use toffee bits, so you could either do chocolate chips or toffee. I didn't have toffee, but I did have chocolate chips. So what I'm doing is browning the butter here. I was just showing you that it does get foamy. This does take between 5 to 7 minutes, so don't get discouraged. Once it starts to foam, you're almost there. This is about the halfway point, and it's going to start looking like an amber color, and it's going to have a very fragrant, nutty almost smell. I want to describe it as kind of like popcorn, but a little nuttier. And this brown butter just does something very, very different. So this is 2 sticks of unsalted butter. I wouldn't use salted butter. But if you have to, I guess that would be okay. Just don't add any additional butter. But here is about 5 minutes in. It's starting to really the foam's going down and it's just bubbling, and it's going to become this rich, deep amber color real soon. Now you got to let this cool completely. Let it sit aside for room temperature here. I'm just showing you it's starting to get darker. You need to let this sit out till it's about completely cooled, I would say, because this is what you're going to cream your sugar together with. You don't want it hot. And definitely let your eggs sit out. You need 2 eggs. I would let them sit out too and bring them to room temperature because it definitely makes a difference in my opinion. But here's that rich, deep amber color. It's beautiful, and you are going to have remnants on the bottom. Don't get rid of those. Use them for your recipe. Here it is, this rich, dark amber, and at the bottom it has bits and bobs. I don't know how to explain it, but don't get rid of them because that brings that additional rich flavor. Here's my buttered cooled. I will put all of the actual measurements in the description, but you need to use dark brown sugar. It just makes them chewier. There's a little more molasses in it. If you do have light brown, it should work, but I prefer the dark brown because it definitely gives it that chewier texture, and it's delicious. And I just was showing I do 2 different kinds of chocolate chips. Here I am creaming together the room temperature butter with the 2 different sugars. So it's 1/3 of a cup of white sugar and 1 cup of packed brown sugar. And you're just going to mix it till it becomes a lighter color. You'll notice, so it's about a minute. I mix them on medium, and they become a light tan color. You'll see here in a second. As you can see, this is after about a minute and a half, and this is when you know you have completely creamed your sugar and butter together. And also remember to scrape your sides. For some reason, I always get things stuck on the bottom of this mixer. So I just go in real quick with a spatula, whatever those things are called, the ones that are plastic, and I just go through and really scrape down the sides. So now when I add my eggs, I usually do 1 at a time, but for filming purposes, I kind of just put them both in. Now, once you whip the eggs in, it's going to become very fluffy and very much more lighter than it already is. And this is just a little bit of vanilla. I think it was 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons, sorry. And it's going to become even lighter and more whipped. And then it's becoming really airy and chewy and delicious. So whip this for another about a minute and a half, and you'll see it will even get even tanner. Here it is. It's super duper tan, fluffy, and this is exactly what you want. This is not a doughy consistency. It's a little more of a wet dough, and that's exactly what you want. Here I am alternating between 2 cups of all-purpose flour and a little bit of baking soda. I will definitely have the measurements for you below. I just added the little bit left that was supposed to be sifted in with my flour, but I forgot, so I just added it in with my flour, and I just slowly add this. It just, for me, incorporates it a little bit better and leaves it so you don't overmix the dough. So that's all I'm doing here is just adding my dry ingredients. Now, if you did use salted butter, you don't add salt. If you didn't, then I would add just a little bit of salt just to bring out the flavors of the sweetness. And I am adding milk chocolate chips. Sometimes I do semi-sweet. I prefer semi-sweet. My family likes milk chocolate. You could do walnuts. You could do pecans if you wanted to. You could certainly do the toffee, which would be incredible because this is what the recipe was originally for. But I did chocolate chips. You could do white chocolate chips. You could do Reese's peanut butter, anything you wanted. And then I just slowly incorporated it. It only takes a second. And again, like I said, this is a wetter dough. I don't need to let this sit in the fridge for 2 hours like some do. This went right on the cookie sheet and they bake to perfection. I bake these at 350. Now, I like mine to only cook for about 10 minutes. You could do 11 to 12 minutes if you like yours a little more cooked, but I like mine a little chewier, and then I just leave them sit for about 2 minutes on the tray. I only cook these one tray at a time. I don't put 2 trays in the oven because I just like to keep the temperature at 350, and I feel like if there's too many cookies in the oven, they don't all cook evenly. And then I like them to look a little more rustic, so I just take a tablespoon and plop them, but you can do any size that you want. Again, at 350 for right around 10 minutes is what I do mine. And then I let them sit on the cookie sheet for about a minute and a half, because they're going to keep kind of cooking. And then I put them on a rack and let them completely cool. I'm going to say this recipe, when I make them a little bigger, makes about 25 cookies, and I would say store them in an airtight container for a week, but mine lasts about 3 days in this house. As you can see, I like to make mine just a little bit bigger, and these are so delicious. That brown butter is perfection. And I said 350 for 10 minutes. Look how beautiful these are. These are stunning looking. They look homemade and they taste incredible. You will never ever not do brown butter in your chocolate chip cookies. I'm telling you, it's a game changer and I had to share it with you. Remember to subscribe. Bye guys.